Jambo and welcome to another conversation about the politics of our country. And more importantly, as I have purpose to be doing on a regular basis, the politics of the Mount Kenya region. Over and over again in the recent past, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has given an example of the power of unity and also the effect of disunity. To give his example, he talks about 1992 and 1997 using the Kikuyu community, the Mount Kenya community for that matter. He talks about how in 1992 at the emergence of multi-party politics, Mwai Kibaki led Nyeri, Nyandarua, Kirinyaga, Meru, Embu in one direction. And then Murang'a, Kiambu and Nairobi went in another direction. Each of them got an average of 1-point-something million votes. Together, they would most probably have made 2.5. Daniel Arap Moi got 1.6 million votes and won the election. Same thing repeated itself in 1997. By 2002, somehow, the Mount Kenya community had learned and came together behind Mwai Kibaki, despite the fact that Uhuru Kenyatta was also running. They put all their votes behind Mwai Kibaki and got into government. 2007, again, literally by the skin of their teeth, the region came together again. Kibaki made it back. 2013, the community stayed together. This time, they didn't have a candidate from the other side. From within, the community came together nearly to a man and put in Uhuru Kenyatta. Again, it's very great odds. 2017, put him back as president. 2022, unexpectedly and against, beyond the expectation, we were some of us. The community again voted 87% for William Ruto. Rigathi Gachagua is trying to argue that if the community can learn to keep doing this, in 2027, the state united, they will be able to bring back William Ruto for his second term without much challenge. Now, there have been those people who have been arguing that this whole argument, this whole discourse on ethnicity and ethnicity as a political identity has been overtaken by time. I was of that school of thought for a while until reality hit me. And I realized that Africa generally, Kenya specifically, for a long while is going to continue organizing itself on a regional basis. Why? Not just because of ethnicity, by the way, but also because regions have specific interests that tend to be different region to region. For example, if you come from Nyanza region, your economic infrastructure is very different from if you come from Rift Valley. If you come from Nairobi, it's different from if you come from Northeastern. If you come from Central Mount Kenya, it is different compared to if you come from Western. And just think about the politics of sugarcane, for example, which is a big thing in Western. If you come to Mount Kenya region and start talking to them about the need to write off debts that from sugarcane, they'll tell you that is a non-issue, right? If you go to Western and talk to them about the issues of coffee and tea and milk, to some extent, you might get lost. Right? You go to Nairobi, you're talking about transport business, you're talking about small business, which might be very different to when you go to Northeastern province. So let's first accept that our politics is regionalized. And then because we live as communities in different regions, that's how we organize ourselves. In America, when you talk about the red and the blue belts, you'll find that they also have different economic capacities. When you go to Texas, you're talking about the oil business. There are places you go and talk about the industrial complex. It's different. So let's not feel ashamed or embarrassed when we say that our politics is organized regionally. There is nothing wrong with that, right? So let's come back to this conversation about Mount Kenya region. Mount Kenya region has proven. Actually, Mount Kenya region is one of the most politically aware regions in this country, together with Nyanza, for that matter. People who have understood what it means to be in political power. This region has produced three out of the last 5 presidents, right? Rift Valley has produced the other 2. Now, people keep saying, but the president being from your region doesn't mean much because it's one individual. And sometimes you will listen, even the deputy president tends to spend quite a bit of time explaining what it means to be in government. Because Mount Kenya region voted for Kenya Kwanza so overwhelmingly, they have a much bigger representation in that government, in this government, than has happened in the past. They have 8 cabinet members. They have representation in critical ministries. They have representation in critical parastatals. They have a deputy president position. Now, these are not individual positions, and this is what I mean. When a discussion is held at cabinet level, and you have such a sizable representation at that level, you're able to push an agenda that is of benefit to a region that you're conversant with. And that is why regions want to organize themselves to get into power. When you hear about equity or equality in government, it's because other regions want to sit at that cabinet level. And to sit in that cabinet level, you need to have been part of the government. Right? So it's important to put this unity conversation in context. This is not about Rigathi Gachagua. This is not about individuals using the community to ascend into power. This is about the community using individuals to get benefits of political, economic, and social benefits to them. As we move forward, this conversation is going to keep coming back. There's been the reason why you feel there's a confusion about whether Mount Kenya is restless because Raila looks like he's getting into a relationship with the president is because there's a fear of what does that mean. Because Raila has a history that when he gets into relationship with government, he negotiates for his region, for his community, not just for himself. He will put people in government. He will get family members in government. He will get access and influence in government. That is what it means to be in government. So my advice, as we keep having this conversation, especially to the Mount Kenya region, our unity is our strength. Even the Bible talks about the fact that when you're united, there's very little that you cannot achieve. When you are divided, it is very easy to manage you. Our unity should not be unity against other people. Our unity should be unity for, first, the community's interests, the issues that are important to us. We are looking at losing quite a number of constituencies if we are not united in our conversation. We are looking at critical economic activities to us, whether it's small businesses, whether it is agriculture, whether it is just the economic environment in which we are operating in. As a country, it affects us, especially the people from Mount Kenya region, quite considerably. There's this issue about taxing agricultural produce. That's an issue to us. So as we talk about unity, let's talk about unity for something. Unity towards something. We're not uniting away from the rest of the country. We're not uniting away from the president. We're not uniting away or against Raila Odinga or against other people. We are uniting because our interests are best served when we operate as a block. And this, by the way, applies for everybody. When you listen to Wetangula and Mudavadi speaking, they keep urging their community to come together. When you listen to the Rift Valley leadership speaking, it's a Kalenjin community, they are talking about let us stay together and support William Ruto, who is from our community, so that he can succeed. When you listen to Kalonzo and the members of parliament from Eastern speaking, they're talking about we need to hold, we need to protect, we need to secure Kalonzo Musyoka, not so that he gets into power, but so that because if he gets into power, he can speak for us, for issues that are important to us, the issues of water and Eastern Bloc and the issue and the need for water. That is why communities talk about unity. So mine is to contextualize that conversation. And to contextualize the fact that at this moment in time, we have worked, some of us, okay, actually all of us as a community have worked with Uhuru Kenyatta for the last 10 years. We were united behind him, and because of that, he was able to serve a 10-year term, and was able to do a lot of infrastructure for the country, but also specifically for us, Mau Mau roads and other things. Some of them are stolen, right? Today, the leader we have today is called Rigathi Gachagua. He might not have been what was your preferred candidate when these elections were held. He is the one who won. Now, for the sake of the community, we need to actually galvanize ourselves around him because of two things. One, a strong Rigathi Gachagua is a strong community in politics. A strong Rigathi Gachagua can negotiate for a community interests at cabinet level and lead the representation we have at that level or within government towards meeting that is important to us. But then even more importantly, a strong Rigathi Gachagua creates an environment where we can actually be able to operate without fear. Because again, politics sometimes brings in fear. You're not sure whether what the government is thinking about you, whether the government is hearing you, whether the government has got your interests at heart. A strong Rigathi Gachagua means that the government is hearing us. Finally, a strong Rigathi Gachagua means a strong William Ruto, and a comfortable William Ruto, and a secure William Ruto. A strong Rigathi Gachagua supported by the community, knowing that the community is hearing. Because remember, William Ruto chose Rigathi Gachagua as his deputy. William Ruto would want Rigathi Gachagua to have a value that he brings into the relationship with the government. The primary value for a politician is votes. So if William Ruto is sure that Rigathi Gachagua is able to galvanize the region behind him, he is secure. He is able to focus on first those things that are going to make the region happy, but then also on just keeping the country going. So there are very many benefits to having a strong community, a strong Rigathi Gachagua, and a united bloc. So for me, this is my conversation today. As we continue debating, interrogating, exploring the importance of unity in our community, let's contextualize it. Let's depersonalize it. Let's understand that unity serves all of us. Whether you are a Mama Mboga, a Boda Boda person, a corporate titan, a politician, the deputy president, if our region is united and able to have a conversation together to decide which way to go, then we are all strong. If it is not, and we have various voices coming up, then we are weaker. If we are weak, we are irrelevant. If we are strong, we are relevant to the politics of this country. So that's what I have to say today. Think about it this week. We'll continue this conversation at a future date, and give us your feedback. Put your comments below this particular video. Let me hear what you think. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, put your thoughts. I'm always happy to hear from you. So again, as always, we're shooting from Rware Central. Whenever you're in Nyeri, please visit with us. Good food, good conference facilities, good accommodation. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Kenya, and have a lovely week.